Hi guys, welcome to the Leicester Fan TV review after the Blackburn game. Obviously, we lost 2-1. Scored a final 15-minute goals with Nacho when he came on, but it wasn't enough in the end. We lost the game. We're out of all competitions this season. All we've got is the Premier League. Really, what do you make to last night's game and performance overall?
Well, to begin with, when you started the game and with the team you had out there, you would say it was a winnable game with the team you had out there. Amati was a bit of a dodgy one. Obviously, you could have started soon too, like you said, but I think before the game you would have been happy with the team that we put out. I don't think we needed to go as strong as we could have. So I think the team was good enough, but as the result says, it obviously wasn't, and both goals that we conceded leaded because of an errors.
Yeah, I think we should have put a way stronger team out than we did. The players we put out yesterday for me are real banana skin players.
Mhm.
Amati, he's got a mistake in him. Samari, for me, he's just not good enough at all. He couldn't do it against Championship side. I don't think he could do it against the League Two side. To be honest with you, I don't see his quality. Vardy had a decent chance, which he kind of scuffed up. But he's coming to the end of his career. Maybe on 2 years ago, he would have put that away. Uh, I think we should have just started a bit stronger. I'm not quite sure why we rested all these players. I know we've got Southampton on Saturday, but Tuesday night, Saturday night, I don't think that's much of a difference. Really, I think we should have played a lot more of a stronger team.
Yeah. Again, someone saying this was made too late. There's certain situations where you think the team that we put out by the end of the game normally will probably start the game. And at the end of the day, in the last 25 minutes, we were probably the better side, but it obviously it's not good
Championship
enough
football.
because it's a 90-minute game. So you just got to see the errors. Obviously, we'll talk about the first one. Amarty, what was he doing? Passing out from the back to Pratt, who is between two of their players, straight into their players' feet, and runs on and scores an open
I
goal.
think
Really,
the real person needs to be blamed is Rodgers. I know a lot of fans might disagree, or I assume I think a lot are going to agree. The way we started, to the style of play, we saw against Villa and Spurs, we were a lot more attacking, and it paid off. We scored 4 goals. We came back from losing positions. We carried on playing our own football, and we playing at home to a pretty on form Blackburn team that are going to come and attack us. That's what their game plan was, to come and attack, and we could all see that's what was going to happen. We still played our same old football till the last minute, and again, for me, that's Rodgers' Achilles heel. He has one thing in the locker, and if it doesn't work, sod it. That's all he thinks, and for me, he's got to go. He's a manager on £10 million a year, reportedly, or however much he's on, and he can't. You might disagree with me, but all he has is one thing: is lucky. You see these managers on the top like Pep, Klopp, and I know Klopp's not doing great, but at least he offers more than just passing it around the back, and the players can't do it. We're passing around the back with someone like Amati, who's he's an awful passer on the
but
ball.
you can't expect us to win every game.
No, but I can expect us to play well. We didn't play well at all yesterday against the Championship
No,
side.
but is that down to the players or is that down to the manager? For me, that is the players. The players just didn't. Sumari's pass to their offside goal.
But
That
even
was not
Ray's
his
saying we
fault.
can't play out back, so why do it? It's so annoying. Again, that's Rodgers. Rodgers knows Amati can't play out the back. He surely knows he can't do it. He knows that those players are unable to be passing it around the back, and yet we still do the same thing week in, week out. We still play. When Amati's in that team, fine, switch it around a bit because it's a cup game, but don't have him passing around the back. Evidently, it happens week in, week out. He makes mistakes, and to me, that's not Amati's fault. He's making that mistake. It's Rodgers' fault that he's picked him because he's been doing these. You say you're doing that those phases,
No, but there's both sides. Like,
but he's been making those
but
mistakes for the
Amarty
past 6 months.
wanted to make that decision and choice.
But he's been making those mistakes for the past
What
six
did
months. So
we
why play?
see? What did
Why
we
play?
see when he made that pass? He didn't make that pass because Rodgers told him to make that
Yes, he
pass.
did.
There was an easier pass to
No,
Ricardo.
Rodgers is
Why did
telling
he not make that
because Rodgers is telling those players to pass it around the back.
pass? Around the
If
back, yes, but not putting the ball forward.
that's still passing it around the back, whether or
I'm
not.
sorry, I don't agree with that.
You, I mean, the way we played, it was just for me that's
Rodgers
Rodgers' fault.
can't be blamed for how one player decides to pass the
Yes,
ball.
he can because he chooses how they play the ball. He says
Every
don't
single
pass
pass
it
is
around the
down
back,
to what the player
but
does.
he's telling them to pass it around the back. Rodgers is telling him to pass it around the back, and if Amati can't do it, he can't do it. But he's still playing Amati.
But it was a hospital pass from Amati.
Yeah,
not from Rodgers.
But Rodgers chose to play Amati, and he would surely would have known Amati's going to do that.
But if Amati looked back at that, he knows he shouldn't have passed that ball there.
Yes, I'm not saying that, but I'm saying Rodgers chose him to start with. Really, I don't think you're understanding that. I'm saying Rodgers chose. But he chose him. It's going to be in his locker. He knows that Amati can't.
No, I get the point of that part, but again.
But Rodgers still does it. He still plays those players.
Because that's all he's kind of got.
No, it's not. He had Suter. He had Soyuncu.
He's not. He made changes for a reason.
Yeah, well, and it didn't work because we lost her out of the FA Cup now. So you know.
But was just people saying Rodgers has them passing space. That's what they do. How do you mean by that?
Because I think
passing space, yes, but Marty did not pass to somebody in space. He basically passed Hospital straight into their player, and it cost us. And I'm not blaming Rodgers for that pass.
This is what I'm saying. Know your personality. You know they can't pass out from the back, i.e. Marty, who can't pass out from the back. And that's how Rodgers wants to play. Don't play him there. Don't play Marty if you're going to pass out from the back because he can't do it.
But again, you've got to see from that situation that in that moment where he passed that ball, he could have passed someone else.
Yes, he could.
He made that choice himself.
He's in the middle of a match playing football. He thinks the best option is to take it forward, which it wasn't. But there's a player, let's say, to right, he might not have seen him. The player might not have called for him to pass the ball. So if Amarty's saying that's my best option, and it clearly wasn't because the two players around him took it and they go and score. But for me, that's not just against Blackburn. He's done that all season long, where he's made a mistake and they go and score.
I just like to say he's trying to make mistakes, yes, but again, for me, he's got no other option. Sunchu is there.
That's what I'm saying.
But he's not playing him, so.
If Rodgers wants to play out from the back, fine. But then don't play Amarty who can't pass it from the back. I'm not saying that Rodgers shouldn't have passed it around the back yesterday, because I don't think it works. But if he's going to do that, fine. But play players that know how to do that. This is for me why Rodgers has to go, because he's playing Amarty as centre back who can't pass it around the back. See,
it's not Rodgers' fault.
It's not Rodgers' fault. It's not Rodgers' fault. People in the comments who agrees with Reedy that it's not Rodgers' fault, because I highly doubt there's going to be more than two people that agree. Because I think you're being very biased. I think he's the person the hell with it.
It is not Rodgers' fault. I will tell you that. You cannot blame Marty's pass on Rodgers. No, you can't.
He's been playing like that for the past 8 months, and Rodgers continues to play him as a person passing.
Yeah, so then he brings in Suter, and we've played a lot better since he's been in.
But we didn't last night. That's what I'm saying. Last night, Rodgers played Amarty, but we still.
See, what you're saying is you want to play the same 11 every single game, every single team.
All, but I'm saying we played. You're not listening to what I'm saying.
I am.
You're not, because I'm saying we played Amarty at the back, who can't pass the ball.
Yeah.
So if you're going to play him at the back, don't have him pass the ball. Have him hoof up when he gets the ball. You know, it's just obvious football. I'm not saying what you're saying. I'm saying that if Amarty's a centre back, we're choosing. Don't have him passing the ball because he cannot pass a ball. And it proved last night because he gave them the ball straight away and they score. And that's one of the goals which made us lose last night. So I'm a fan saying that.
Okay then. So from you saying about we're passing around the back, so we'll go backtrack a few games. So Villa did well.
Yeah, we have a completely different team.
Not completely.
Yes, it was.
It was a few different players in there.
If you look at the team last night, the team against Villa really, at least 9 of the players I'm sure were different.
Not 9. There's about 3 or 4.
No, it was not.
It's 3 or 4. Thomas was in there.
Thomas, right? So look.
Thomas, Amarty,
Ricardo. There you go. It's 4 different
That's
players.
it.
Sumer, Vardy. There's 6 players. There's 6 out of the 11 players that are completely different to the team that won. Who was in midfield? Was it Drewsmill yesterday? Yeah, he's the same. He's an off-form player. Barnes, off-form. Tete, not really doing much. Had one decent game.
But the thing is, we weren't saying we were playing poor in them games, but when you come into an FA Cup game, most teams do drop players.
Yeah, I'm not saying I have a problem with the switching around players.
And we all know that FA Cup matches can go either way.
I don't have a problem with the way that we switched around. I have a problem with the fact that we're putting Amarty again back in centre back, and we know he can't pass it, but he's still passing it because that's what Rodgers is telling him to do. Luke Thomas, again, he needs a loan to the Championship. think a lot of fans are saying that he's not very good with us. Marty Thomas has been our weak links for a long, long time, and he brought them back for a massive cup game. Exactly. See, that's the thing. We do those two players. They didn't need to play. For me, we played Tuesday and played Saturday. Christensen would have been fit to play tonight and last night and play on Saturday. Same with
but you're saying this after we've lost. If we won that game, we wouldn't be saying any of this.
But we didn't win, though.
No, I know. I'm saying people are saying that Iheanacho should have started.
Yeah.
Or because he scored. Before the game, I think people were happy, majority-wise, of the team that was playing.
I don't think they were. I think a lot of fans were saying that team was not very good. Putting Marty back in there when you've got. I understand if you're going to change around the centre backs, maybe because Suits is coming back from an injury a little bit more from obviously the World Cup and stuff he's had.
But again, beforehand, even we all agree. Not all agree, but we're all saying that we will be making changes. So people, even in here, said we'll probably play Thomas. We'll probably play Ricardo. We'll probably play someone like Tomori instead of Mendy or Ndidi. We were saying that.
That was a mistake.
But we knew that these changes would happen, and we've crossed it. So now we're kind of blaming players or blaming Rodgers for these decisions when we all kind of knew that was going to happen anyway.
I mean, maybe so. I didn't hear anyone really, say anything about what you're saying.
Well, it's because we were in here and you weren't a bit.
Yeah.
That situation. I'd say it's always it's everyone's opinions and whatnot, but we do move into now in the Premier League because obviously we've lost two. We've lost both cups.
Now we're going to lose a lot of players, and we're not going to have much to bring in for players like the big name players.
Well, the thing is, me and Jake were saying yesterday that obviously before the game got played last night, it was the time to try and get a cup win because going into the summer. That's where we do bring the players in by going into Europe. But now we've just got to make sure we don't go down.
Well, Southampton, that is massive.
Yeah, that is.
I think we are in a real trouble, and I think, like you say, Southampton are 3 points out of getting out.
They are at the bottom of the league, 3 points off getting to 19. So if we win that, we go higher. If they win, they're right back into the race of staying up. So.
Yeah, I mean. It's a 6 points a game. If we lose it, I think we are going to get relegated this season. I think that's just tough luck. I don't think, again, for me, my biggest problem is I am questioning the board 100%. You got to go to the people above the managers. For me, I think Rodgers should have gone 18 months ago when he started to show these bad forms. He'll come back and he'll win 2 or 3 games in a row, have a good run, and then that'll keep him going for a couple of months. But for me, he's just way too. I mean, we played well, don't get me wrong, against these because we had Man United, Arsenal, Spurs. They were tough games. But last night for me really shows that we just keep going backwards. And I just don't understand why we carry on. I'm not saying the players the players that played last night are fine. But then the system you play, he's got to have more than just having one way of playing.
No, I understand that.
Because
I get that.
if he's passing it out from the back, then you've got to have players that are fit to do that. Amati is not a suitable player to do that.
He's still doing it. The way that I see with Rodgers, I just don't think. As much as you're probably not happy with him now, what would you want from the next manager? Like you can't expect to win every match.
It's not about winning every match. It's about trying. We don't. For me, last night.
But then again, I feel like we did try against Man U. Yes, we lost 3-0 in the end. Yeah, but we did try.
I'm saying last
against Arsenal. For me, we didn't do bad. We played against top of the league. We limited them. We did well. But when you're playing against Blackburn,
we're playing against Blackburn. We need to play our game against them. And passing around the back is not how we should be playing with those players. That's what I'm saying. If we're going to play passing around the back, you've got to play players that are fit for that position to pass around the back. The back four we played yesterday, Thomas has been awful all season. I don't know how he even gets a look in the team. For me, we should have just started Christensen again because Thomas, he's not good enough. He doesn't have to. Christensen has, we're playing Premier League on Saturday. Again, centre back, I would play Soyuncu. He was a fine defender before Rodgers had a falling out with him. So I struggle to see what really runs through someone like Rodgers' mind when he makes those decisions.
Like Georgie says here, Gillingham and Wilson were huge signs these cups are not to be taken lightly.
Yeah, which we took lightly yesterday.
It's hard. I get what you mean as well. Blackburn are fourth.
We've had to play in the cup so far. They're on form. They're fifth in the championship. They're doing really well. And we go out and say, yeah, we'll play B team. against them. 'Cause that's what we did. We played a B team with players like Vardy, who doesn't score. He's not scored at all for us in the system. That's why I would have played Nacho from the start, because Vardy, he doesn't score in the system, but Nacho does, and he came on and he scored. It was a bit obvious that if anyone was going to score, it'd be Nacho out of the 3 strikers we've got at the moment. So I think it's just a bit of common sense, and I understand you're going to rest him to playing well for the games, but it depends on how serious you want to take it. Rodgers didn't take the cup seriously, so for me, he has to win on Saturday. He has no excuse for losing on Saturday, because all the players that didn't play are all rested now. If we lose against Southampton on Saturday, for me, Rodgers should have gone a long time ago. He should definitely be gone after last night. If we lose Southampton, anyone that thinks he's in is, for me, a bit deluded, if I'm being honest, because I don't see what we're seeing.
Yeah, I can see the points of weight against not having him and with him as well. So get your comments and get your views in. This has been the match review for the Blackburn game. Make sure to watch the away fan show with Tom tomorrow night for the Southampton away game, and then the watch along obviously on Saturday night. So appreciate you coming on, and we'll catch you on the next one. Cheers.